Trump just moved Space Force from Colorado
to Huntsville
to Alabama. Yeah. For no good reason.
There's a real question of how many jobs it's going to bring to the state. You know, the administration said as many as 30,000. Officials in Alabama have said 1,500 to 1,600. There's questions about the legal authority and justification for just blowing up a boat that's in the middle of the water.
I want to hop into an episode of Bill Maher with Kaitlan Collins and some other guests as they discuss Donald Trump, MAGA, Elon, and more. If you can, leave us a like on the video. It gives us a boost. It lets us know you enjoy this content. And let's get right to the discussion.
Okay, but so there should never be any cap because there's certainly, but when J.D. Rockefeller, the founding father of the Rockefeller dynasty, at some point was worth 2% of the GDP, and then they made antitrust laws. Mm-hmm. They said that's a little too much for one person to control. Mm-hmm. I think they were right 100 years ago, and I think a trillionaire, I mean...
He's not going to be a trillionaire, but
yeah, I mean, it's basically they've given him a lot of homework to actually get there. It's going to be difficult, I think, to do. It's like double the
But even the money he has now, I read, I don't remember the exact statistics I was reading, but it was something like it would take you X thousands of years.
Yeah, but he's
if you spent $1 million a day,
he's going to invest it in the economy. He's going to,
which to me is insane. That me and you could make $1 million each and every day and not die as rich as Elon Musk. Meanwhile, people go to sleep hungry and homeless every single night. It's objectively an economic failure that these two things exist together, and it's one of the strongest cases against capitalism, in my opinion. And the effects, especially when blended with politics, more importantly, what conservatives have done to our political system and allowing money to influence it's insanely scary. We've already seen it play out to be scary, but now, I mean, even as he climbs more and more in wealth, Elon can add even more unmatched influence, financial influence in elections. We saw him do this again with almost $300 million to help elect Trump. Literally, we saw him giving people $1 million to sign up for his PAC to say they'll vote for Trump. Imagine if he takes this to like the Supreme Court and he starts bribing Clarence Thomas or Alito, right? Or even just start lobbying foreign governments. I do think that limits need to be discussed for that reason.
Venezuela is not one of the drug countries that if we really want to stop drugs, Venezuela is not the place.
But also there's questions about the legal authority and justification for just blowing up a boat that's in the middle of the water that they allege was a drug boat, but we haven't seen the evidence. They haven't presented that publicly or anything like that. And if this becomes a common practice, I mean, that would be a first.
I mean, it seems odd that you would have a small boat with 11 people on it if you were smuggling drugs. I personally would leave more room for drugs.
This is, of course, about a bombing that killed civilians off the shore of Venezuela. They bombed a fishing boat, a small fishing boat, because that's very cartel-like, in which the Trump administration first attempted to hide so nobody would know and he wouldn't have to admit that, yeah, he like bombed civilians, the thing MAGA loves to eat up Obama for. And now, even more insane, you have the likes of J.D. Vance on Twitter saying he doesn't care if it's a war crime when called out for the fact that it is, in fact, a war crime. It's so much for the pro-peace ticket. I mean, like, whatever happened to that? Now they're preemptively bombing Iran, saying they'll help Israel annex Gaza, bombing civilians in a Venezuela country that poses no threat to us either. We're seeing the largest attacks into Kiev from Russia, racking up international crime after international crime. Remember when Trump promised to end the wars and do so immediately? Like, now MAGA is trying to tell us why war is actually good. It's funny how things have changed. Like, apparently bombing innocent countries, killing civilians isn't pro-war. That's pro-peace. It's how you end wars. But sending Ukraine weapons to defend against an oppressive Russian army is warmongering. Like, let's just admit that these clowns are Russian stooges, and that's what they were upset about. Can we at least concede that at this point?
Trump just moved Space Force from Colorado
to Huntsville
to Alabama. Yeah. For no good reason. Because he was mad at Colorado for having mail-in voting. Now, I've been to Huntsville. I played Huntsville. It's great. It's where NASA is.
The penalty might not fit the crime.
What do you think of that?
I actually did a lot of this because when it was moved back to Colorado during the Biden administration, the Alabama lawmakers were furious over this. Yeah. It was basically a huge debate. It depends on who you ask. Yeah. They said they did all these studies where it would be better. It's going to be in Alabama. There's a real question of how many jobs it's going to bring to the state. You know, the administration said as many as 30,000. Officials in Alabama have said 15 to 1,600.
It's just more pettiness from Trump, in my opinion. If I recall correctly, there was data that showed it would have been more beneficial for the duties if it was based in Colorado, both in like an efficacy way and in a financial way. But of course, Trump wants it to just be in a red state for the sake of Republicans and to have some sort of revenge against the states that didn't vote for him. I do think it's telling that he has to punish a state for mail-in ballot cheating by taking it in his own hands and doing something like this, because he can't just take him to court and prove it, right? Like, that's such an insane self-own to me. Of course, MAGA will never admit that, though, and they'll just think like, all the courts are in on this conspiracy and Trump is like doing what's right. But I just hate that we live in the age of like elementary school level pettiness being what stands behind the Oval Office and controls our nuclear codes.